Good evening, colleagues, friends and citizens. It's another great day in Prince George's County and another great day for Prince George's County Public Schools. While this isn't a formal board meeting per se, I'm going to kick things off before I turn the floor over to Dr. Maxwell. For one, to say good evening and to just acknowledge what we all know, that when it comes to offering excellent education to every student, for a board, there's no more important responsibility than ensuring that the considerable trust that the public puts in us, and particularly the considerable dollars that they commit to public education, that we take very seriously how we spend each dollar, and that each dollar is focused on what matters most when it comes to educating our children. And we're here this evening to learn from and hear about the tremendously hard and important and vigorous work that Dr. Maxwell and his team has done in presenting us a budget this evening. At the conclusion of Dr. Maxwell presenting the budget, he will hand it over to us as a board, and we will take our own considerable time and energy and effort working along with the public and others to examine it and to then offer a budget from the Prince George's County school system to the county council and county executive in the budget approval process. So just to keep a few dates in mind as we go through that process, we'll start in, we will have public hearings where we will hear from the public about feedback on this budget. Those will happen January 20th, January 27th, and February 10th at 7 p.m. Right here in the board meeting. And prior to those, at 5 p.m. each time, the board will meet for budget work sessions to get questions answered, ultimately to approve a budget on March 26th of 2015 that will guide the incredibly important work of Prince George's County Public Schools. We have incredibly hard work in front of us and incredibly important work, and at that, I'm going to hand it over to my friend and colleague, Dr. Maxwell, to walk us through it. I would, as he comes to the podium, I remind folks that this is not a formal meeting, so we're not going to do what we do, like public comment or take questions from the board, that kind of thing. Dr. Maxwell is going to present this to us, and we will, well, we won't be asking questions today. I think I counted last year something in the area of 400 questions that the board asked to the administration over the, I'm sure the board counted more like 600 questions, but so there'll be plenty of time for that as we move this process forward. But for tonight, we're going to hear from our CEO about his vision and his work. Dr. Maxwell.
So good evening, and thank you for joining me on this beautiful day in Prince George's County Public Schools. How is everyone today? Come on, you can do. I think you're supposed to know how to answer that question by now. So let's do it one more time. I really want to hear everybody say it correctly. Do you need a tutorial? So how's everyone today? Great, by choice. Thank you. So as I walked into this room today, I began to think about what a very special place this room is. Yes, I'm talking about this room. One can look around, I encourage you to do so, and say it's not the most impressive in its decor, and I can't imagine the audience seating is the most comfortable ever manufactured. But I do know that in this very room, some of the most important decisions about the future of our school district, our students, and our families have been discussed, debated, and decided. Most importantly, in this room, people like you and me have crossed through those doors, people who have dedicated their lives to the field of education, people who have seen the magic and power of an effective teacher or principal and want to see that spread across our county. Parents whose wish it is to see their children succeed. and advocates who want our school district to reach its full potential. Many of you have returned today, and I'd like to take a moment to recognize and thank you for being here. One of the reasons being CEO is so enjoyable is that we do have an outstanding board, and I want to thank you so much for all of the time and energy and work that you put into this work. Thank you very much. On nights like this, I feel a sense of pride and admiration for the work we do each day as public servants. While I'm the one making this presentation, I'd like to acknowledge the hard work and dedication of all of our employees. You make it possible. To quote former student and NBA superstar Kevin Durant, you are the real MVPs. I also extend a special thanks to my executive cabinet. We have recruited and retained some of the most talented professionals in public education. Together, we are making Prince George's County Public Schools great by choice. Our friends from Six Flags are here tonight. Rick Howarth, Park President, and Jerry Stippo, Sales Manager, would you please stand and be recognized? As the largest youth employer in the state, Six Flags America employs more than 2,000 young people each year. The park provides a variety of jobs, internships, and has a scholarship program for students to help them continue their education. Thank you, Six Flags, for your commitment to the youth of our state and to our school system. Now, some say that creating a budget is a simple matter of adding and subtracting and making sure everything balances out end to end. On the contrary, I wholeheartedly believe it is much more than that. It is one of the most important responsibilities I have as CEO of the Prince George's County Public Schools. It represents our priorities for moving the needle in student achievement and how we will know our students are college and career ready. A budget defines what type of teaching and learning we provide, and ultimately the quality of education our students and families receive and deserve. In times of plenty as well as times of drought, budgets are about tough choices that balance our current needs and fiscal realities with the demands of tomorrow and future generations. A budget requires us to be both strategic and visionary. As I prepared this budget recommendation, I looked back on history. And in so doing, a phrase from Martin Luther King Jr. spoke to me, and you can see it in the recommendation I'm making tonight. It is from his Nobel Peace Prize acceptance speech delivered nearly 50 years ago to this day in Oslo. He said, "I have the audacity to believe that peoples everywhere can have 3 meals a day for their bodies, education and culture for their minds, and dignity, equality, and freedom for their spirits." Tonight, I will present my recommendations for the fiscal year 2016 operating budget. Last year, I stood before you at a landmark point in our county's history. While we were facing many challenges and uncertainty, I felt an overwhelming sense of anticipation and enthusiasm about what was next for Prince George's County Public Schools. In my last budget address, I shared a vision for how we can achieve academic excellence by funding student needs, developing a high-performing workforce, supporting our employees, increasing our organizational effectiveness, and creating safe and supportive learning environments. I told you about our commitment to innovation and fiscal stability. I told you how I would be visiting every school in our district, attending as many community and civic events as possible, and representing our county at the state and national level. I spoke of the people I met along the way, former students, teachers, colleagues, and citizens, whose abiding hope for our success was heartwarming and heartfelt. 1 year later, the budget recommendation I am presenting tonight is another important mile marker on our path to greatness. Tonight, my recommendation will remind you of where we've been, what we propose to continue, and where we must forge ahead. But let's first take a few minutes to look at our successes from fiscal year 2015. In just 1 year, we are seeing tangible returns on our investment in public education. We are seeing all the good it can bring our students and families. Our enrollment for this school year increased for the second year in a row. It is wonderful that we are growing again. Take a look at this chart. That's over 3,600 students. In prior years, we lost a lot of students, but this growth is a promising sign. By expanding our programs of choice, parents who have not had their children in our schools are now taking another look. We invested in our employees after too many years of little to no pay raises, cuts in staffing, and lack of resources. For the first time in 8 years, we negotiated all of our contracts with our labor partners before the end of the fiscal year. We expanded specialty programs such as Spanish and French immersion, Montessori, Talented and Gifted, International Baccalaureate, and the Visual and Performing Arts. This investment brought over 500 additional seats, serving 450 students and families across Prince George's County. We introduced and expanded several new career academies as part of our efforts in secondary school reform. These academies provide students with hands-on learning opportunities in sought-after career fields like information technology, health and biomedical sciences, cybersecurity, and aerospace engineering and technology. This work is being recognized nationally. It even garnered the attention of President Barack Obama as he visited my alma mater, Bladensburg High School, in April to announce a $7 million grant from the Department of Labor that supports our programs at Bladensburg, Fairmont Heights, and Potomac High Schools. Additionally, we invested in the professional development of our educators by creating Peer Assistance and Review, known as PAR. This program, created in collaboration with our labor partner, PGCEA, develops more effective teachers and provides quality feedback to assist educators in improving their practice. In one of our largest professional development events ever, we trained over 9,000 educators in one day by using advances in technology through our partnership with Discovery Communications. And with the board's support, we created the Office of Family and Community Engagement and provided more community outreach assistance in schools across the district. We recognized and acted on the critical need to purposefully engage our families and communities in meaningful and imaginative ways. Though the official report won't be released for a few more weeks, our preliminary data shows a 4% increase in the 9th grade promotion rate. While there's still much work to be done, we're confident the interventions we put in place are starting to pay off, and this upward trend will continue. Thank you. I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize our high schools that have achieved tremendous gains in the 9th grade promotion rate. Potomac High School, with an 18.2% increase in 9th grade promotion rate, led by Principal Robin Prince. Charles Herbert Flowers High School, with a 17.3% increase, led by Principal Foreman Brown. And Oxon Hill High School, with a 13.6% increase, led by Principal Jean-Paul Cadet. The principals from those schools, or at least 2 of them the last time I looked behind me. Are they all 3? All 3 made it. Okay, good. The principals from all 3 of those schools are here. Please stand up and let's give them a round of applause. I'm also proud to share that the number of kindergartners mastering the skills they need for success is growing according to the Maryland Model for School Readiness. We believe we can attribute this to a strong pre-kindergarten program. We set a goal to enroll 600 students in our full-day pre-kindergarten program, and we exceeded our goal by 37%. We now have 873 students who are benefiting from the leg up that full-day pre-kindergarten provides. Maryland is the first state in the nation to mandate environmental literacy in public education. And as a part of the new mandate, we made enhancements to the William S. Schmidt Outdoor Education Center and expanded off-site programs in recycling, ecology, and biology. Today, the Schmidt Center is already serving 10,000 more students than this time last year. Finally, as many of you know, putting an end to childhood hunger is a very important issue for me. When I came back to Prince George's County Schools, I committed to increasing the number of students who were participating in the free and reduced meals, price meals program, especially breakfast. It is very difficult for a child to concentrate on math, reading, social studies, or any other topic when they're hungry and thinking about where their next meal is coming from. Our target was to serve 5.1 million meals in 1 year. We exceeded that goal and served 5.3 million meals. Reaching our goal isn't just about meals served. It encourages students, staff, and their families to choose healthier behaviors like making the right food choices and moving more. These accomplishments and investments should be celebrated. It is this type of progress and excitement we must continue to make to have our school system go, to become great by choice. I've just given a lot of facts and figures, but I'd like to introduce you to a family who brings these accomplishments to life. The Nolasco family is a story of success in Prince George's County Public Schools. Originally from El Salvador, Mr. and Mrs. Nolasco sought out the many opportunities offered here in our school system. With the goal of college in mind, they placed their 3 eldest children in the International Baccalaureate, or IB program, at Parkdale High School. Their daughter, Jessica, an IB diploma recipient, is now a sophomore at the University of Maryland College Park and will be the first from her family to graduate from college. She received a full 4-year scholarship and is on track to be a speech pathologist when she graduates. Their daughter, Jocelyn, a senior IB student, and son, Adam, a 9th grade pre-IB student, also at Parkdale, are well on their way to success after graduation, too. Mrs. Nolasco is an example of the type of engaged parent we like to see. She monitors SchoolMax daily to keep up with her children's progress and stays connected with what's happening at her children's school. The Nolascos also have a daughter, Elaine, at Paint Branch Elementary School. Her goal is for all of her children to have the same experience her daughter Jessica had. She says she knows Jessica's success was due in large part to the education she received at Parkdale High School. To the Nolasco family, thank you for being here tonight. What a wonderful family. Please stand and be recognized. My recommended budget of $1.8 billion continues the progress we have made while recognizing the fiscal uncertainties that exist. No matter the cost, I believe it is our obligation to ensure opportunity for all. That means every student is given a chance to succeed. My budget recommendation aims to accomplish this by focusing on the critical areas of achieving academic excellence, developing a high-performing workforce, increasing organizational effectiveness, deepening our engagement with families and communities, and providing a safe and supportive environment. These areas of strategic focus and my proposed investment in them will continue to guide our work to improve our school district. They are accompanied by a number of detailed strategies that lay out a path for success, so every student in our district is afforded a world-class educational experience. Let's start with academic excellence. This focus area ensures rigorous educational opportunities from elementary to high school. It places literacy at the foundation of our instruction, so students can be successful in all content areas, graduate on time, and are college and career ready. Starting with our youngest students, my budget recommendation further expands all-day pre-kindergarten programs to the communities who need it most. Although this program has been inconsistently funded in the past, I am committed that all students in our county will have access to full-day pre-kindergarten. Our partnership with County Executive Baker's Transforming Neighborhoods initiative has gone a long way to support this goal. This budget recommendation proposes we add an additional 8 schools, bringing our total to 27 schools offering full-day pre-kindergarten programs. Study after study concludes students attending quality full-day early learning programs demonstrate higher scores on tests of language, math, social emotional skills, and physical development than those who attend half-day programs. In fact, I'd like you to meet Tamia. She is a 2nd grade student at Barnaby Manor Elementary School and an alumnus of our pre-kindergarten program. Tamia's current teachers say they can tell she was provided with an integrated system of quality services to meet her needs and was ready for the next grades. Tamia has excelled in school. As a kindergarten student, she created artwork that was displayed in the state capitol in Annapolis. Today, her favorite subject is reading because she learns more from reading books. Tamia is very serious about her education and has developed an appreciation for knowledge and the importance of literacy at an early age. In my budget proposal, we expand and extend our specialty programs in all areas from arts to technology. Parents have asked time and again for more opportunities and choices in academic programming. Families in our school district know this is an attractive option. Now, how many of you in this audience can fluently speak another language? I know there are some. Yes. Let me ask another question. How many of you wish you could fluently speak another language? A few more hands. Being bilingual does not just mean you can converse with a larger group of people. It means your career and earning prospects are better. Employers are seeking candidates who have the skills to compete in a global economy. The ability to speak another language is one of those skills. In fact, studies show bilingual speakers can earn up to $15,000 more per year than their peers who speak only one language. And researchers, educators, and policymakers agree that speaking another language increases our cognitive ability from infancy through adulthood. Because there's so much value in these programs, my proposal broadens our language immersion programs in Chinese and Spanish at Paint Branch, French immersion at Robert Goddard, and Spanish at Greenbelt, John Hanson, Capitol Heights, Cesar Chavez, Overlook, and Phyllis E. Williams. We have one of the oldest French immersion programs in the country at Robert Goddard, and it was just designated as a National Blue Ribbon School. And remember, our programs were never meant to be standalone programs. This recommendation also creates elementary and middle school programs that will serve as feeders for what we've put in place in the upper grades. Let's take a quick look at one of our immersion programs in action.
When you go home, what do you tell your parents? They say something in Spanish. What do you say?
Uno, dos, tres, cuatro.
When asked why they like the county's first full Spanish immersion program, kindergartners can already count the ways. At Overlook Elementary and at Phyllis E. Williams Elementary, students hear only Spanish all day long and are quickly learning to make sense of a foreign language. Do you like this class?
Yes,
Why do you like it?
because it teaches me all about Spanish.
Did you know how to speak Spanish before you came here?
Yes.
You did? What kind of things could you say?
Uno, dos, tres.
This is amazing. You must be at the head of the class.
Yes.
And while the children are making progress, so too are the immersion teachers, who hail almost exclusively from countries like Spain and Puerto Rico.
With children, you can always learn. and new words. Even they teach me new words because they cannot speak to me in Spanish. So they say something in English and I'm learning.
So fluent have the students become that they are now all the rage at Overlook, with everyone, including the faculty and even the parents, clamoring for Spanish lessons of their own.
They also want Spanish classes too, because they want to know how can they help their children not only in English but in Spanish. So they see the benefits of it as preparing their children to be college and career ready now by being bilingual.
The hope is that Spanish immersion will expand beyond the elementary school, and like what has happened with the county's 20-year-old French immersion program, that its graduates too come back as teachers to create the magic anew. Future teachers, perhaps like young Devin Gray. How did you get to be so good?
Of my teacher. She showed me how to speak Spanish.
Gracias to Devin's teachers and all the teachers and students at the immersion schools for making Spanish a new lingua franca in the Prince George's County Public Schools.
In the video, In the video, you saw students reading using their newly discovered foreign language skills. My budget recommendation proposes 5 additional reading specialists to complement the 20 we added last year. These specialists will assist in building literacy skills during the formative years. Literacy, or the ability to read and write, is the basic foundation on which we build. With literacy, we build the opportunity to grasp other subjects. To achieve academic excellence, we must remain laser-focused on literacy and the basic skills of reading and writing. To support this, I have requested a study of our curriculum to make sure it meets the high literacy demands of the Maryland State College and career readiness standards. Because of our focus on literacy, we are realigning funds that will build our capacity to effectively teach these skills in the 21st century. It takes only a few minutes with a child who loves to read and write to know they will be successful in a competitive world. Which brings me to one of the newer investments in my budget proposal, international high schools. We have agreed to open 2 new schools of choice next year in partnership with the Internationals Network and Casa de Maryland. Carnegie Corporation is funding the design costs of this new endeavor with a generous $3 million commitment. When the schools open, we will be one part of a network of 19 other programs and academies across the country. Built on a proven and innovative model, the international high schools will give students who are just learning English the opportunity to be educated in a supportive environment and become part of our American story. Make no mistake, our region and our school district is increasingly becoming a place that immigrants from across the globe call home. I believe now more than ever, we have a moral obligation to provide students, regardless of their race, religion, or country of origin, the tools they need to succeed. Not doing so will do a great disservice to these students and ensure our failure as a school district. Providing quality schools of choice for all students remains one of my top priorities, and that is why you will also see in my budget recommendation additional expansions of our international baccalaureate programs, information technology high schools, a STEM-focused middle school, and Montessori programs. Finally, arts and culture are part of the fabric of any vibrant community and can unlock a child's potential and imagination in ways never before seen. This budget proposal includes more funding to expand our performing arts programs. Academic excellence requires a very highly qualified staff to carry out our vision. That's why developing a high-performing workforce is one of our critical areas of focus. The most successful businesses make a profit because of the quality of their employees. Like those smart businesses, we must continue to recruit, train, and retain a talented workforce. My budget proposal will honor our labor agreements, keep our commitment to pay our employees well, and make sure they have good benefits. We must do right by our people so they, in turn, can provide the best for our students and families. Carnell Sonny Reed was one of those people. Carnell, who came to Washington, D.C. from Louisiana as a young man, was a longtime member of Local 400. He served as president for almost all of his time with us and had been active in the American labor movement for much of his adult life, beginning as an organizer with the Firemen and Oilers. He was part of our team for nearly 40 years, working as a building supervisor. If you had a chance to meet or work with Carnell, you knew he was a true gentleman. He was a reasonable man and was deeply dedicated to his work and our employees. We lost Carnell just over a week ago, and he will be greatly missed. Our thoughts and prayers are with his family, particularly his 3 daughters. Let's take a moment of silence for Carnell and all those we've lost this year. Thank you. Building a successful school district extends beyond our school and offices. We have a network of partners, both local and global, corporations and foundations, government agencies and businesses, large and small, that are dedicated to our success. Some of them I've already mentioned and recognized. Today, County Executive Baker announced Prince George's County will accept President Obama's My Brother's Keeper Community Challenge. We join with cities across the country to direct resources and support to close the gap for young men of color. Tonight, I accept our county executive's call to action and commit to do all within my power to ensure the success of this initiative in Prince George's County. We will continue to maintain strong relationships in the community, whether it is with NASA, the Gates Foundation, the Carnegie Corporation, the Wallace Foundation, or others. Take Six Flags, for example. For the past several years, the park has partnered with us on multiple events, including our Principal for a Day program, and this past year hosted one of our monthly meetings for principals. In November, they once again dedicated their annual day of service to our schools, sending more than 100 volunteers to Largo High School to repaint the entire building and do some landscaping and beautification projects at several other schools in our county. To the entire team at Six Flags, thank you again for your continued support. Tonight, I am thrilled to announce a major commitment from UMBC. In one of our largest ever partnerships, UMBC will award 4-year scholarships for our best and brightest students with a total value in the millions of dollars. Each year, UMBC will offer the Chief Executive Officer Award to one eligible Prince George's County Public School student from each of our 31 degree-granting high schools. Our 2 institutions have enjoyed a healthy and prosperous relationship, as evidenced by our many collaborations and the ever-expanding Prince George's County Public Schools UMBC alumni base, and we look forward to continuing our work with you in a major way. UMBC Vice Provost Yvette Mosey-Ross, a graduate of Prince George's County Public Schools from the home of the Central Falcons, is here tonight with us. Would you please stand, Yvette, and be recognized? Yvette, we are ever so grateful for this tremendous partnership and our shared commitment to expanding college access. Speaking of our partners, which include our colleagues at the state and local level, I am very appreciative of your commitment to public education funding. I want to acknowledge that our jurisdiction, as well as many others in Maryland, benefit from the state's full funding of the Geographic Cost of Education Index, or GCEI. GCEI acknowledges that when it comes to dispensing state aid, you must consider regional differences in the cost of education that are due to factors outside the control of local school districts. For this, I am very appreciative. Likewise, our district also benefits from the Pre-Kindergarten Expansion Act funding passed by the General Assembly last year. The state grant allowed us to add pre-kindergarten sites from half to full day beyond those we were able to expand with our own county funding. This is another example of how a partnership between state and county benefits our students. Nonetheless, we are still living in an era of a fragile economy, especially at the state and local level. As a precautionary measure, effective today, I have called for a freeze of all discretionary spending and will selectively freeze vacant positions. This spending freeze will be structured so that there will be minimal impact on classroom instruction. In lean times, we have no other choice but to adapt, innovate, and weigh the trade-offs carefully. So we are cutting costs, and we will redirect over $76 million of existing resources to fund our most critical needs for fiscal year 2016. Additionally, we've already taken steps to find efficiency opportunities, beginning with a comprehensive review of our employee benefit program. Part of this process will be to look at more efficient ways to continue to provide employees with an outstanding benefits package. In spite of our fiscal realities, this budget will support our vision of building a district that is truly great by choice. It is prudent in its additional expenditures, but continues to build on the forward progress in our school district that people have come to expect and demand. We know these tough choices and common sense strategies work. Even in tight fiscal times, we have been able to work in a pragmatic and collaborative way. We have done it before, and we must do it again. And we must remember the choices we make today will define our children's future for the years to come. 2 weeks ago, I attended the inauguration of our county executive and county council. I felt a renewed sense of pride in the county. Speaker after speaker came to the stage and spoke eloquently about how Prince George's County was destined for greatness, and many proclaimed, "Now is our time." I've lived here since I was 7 years old. I love my community. 2 of my children graduated from Prince George's County Public Schools, as I did, and my wife recently retired from a career in the public school system. So you can understand why I share the same sentiment about Prince George's County as our elected officials. You cannot deny that Prince George's County is moving in the right direction. From the planned regional medical center at Largo Town Center to the Tanger Outlets and the MGM Resort being built at National Harbor, Prince George's County is definitely the place to be in the Washington metropolitan region. However, I don't believe that the number of houses we build or corporations we recruit will decide our greatness. Our greatness will be judged by the investment we make in our public schools, the investment we make in our students. Our local and state leaders have made it clear that by the year 2020, Prince George's County Public Schools should be the most improved district in the state. We are being called upon to graduate more students who are college and career ready. We will need to have the very best educators in the region on our payroll to do so. The budget recommendation I've put before you tonight gives you a picture of where we are today. But I'd like to take the final moments of this presentation to tell you about where we are going, where I believe we will be a year from now, 5 years from now, a decade from now. First, we will have defeated the narrative that we are less than great. We will have fully embraced and overcome the challenge of shifting perception. We will be second to none when compared in the region or the nation. We will be seen as great by choice. But we will also be more than just test scores or rankings. We will be a system that graduates thousands of students each year, regardless of their income level, ethnicity, or country of origin. Our students will be the most sought-after doctors, lawyers, dentists, teachers, servicemen and women, elected officials, engineers, and faith leaders. The very best will be educated and trained right here in Prince George's County Public Schools. Our educators will be better compensated. Those who start with us and are trained by us will stay with us. They won't even think about leaving for a neighboring jurisdiction that pays just a little more to teach the same subject. Our staff will be recognized and paid like the qualified professionals they are. Our students will learn in modernized 21st century environments. Gone will be the days when there are multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar backlogs in facility maintenance. It will be unheard of that our students learn in buildings where the roof is leaking or the heat is not working. We will have found a long-term solution to these challenges. All of our students will have the opportunity to attend full-day kindergarten regardless of their zip code or socioeconomic status. And all of our students will have access to the arts, not just once every few weeks, but on a consistent basis. We will have fully adopted the idea that arts integration is essential to producing well-rounded students. And for those families who choose their neighborhood schools, they will be confident that it will be as high quality as our specialty programs. This will be a costly endeavor, but it is unacceptable not to do so. And perhaps most importantly, we will be confident that every student who graduates is college and career ready. They'll have full access to dual enrollment opportunities at our institutions of higher learning and hands-on internships from corporate partners and government agencies. I am saying that now is the time to invest in the long-term success of Prince George's County Public Schools. We must believe that we are on the path to greatness and not buy into the belief that we can do more with less. We cannot build a world-class school system with a below-average investment. As we continue to attract more students to our schools and expand high-demand programs, I am asking County Executive Baker, Council Chair Franklin, Vice Chair Davis to be bold and brave and adequately fund our public schools. We are ready, willing, and able to meet the challenge of providing students a world-class educational experience that prepares them for college and career. To do so will not be easy. We may not always agree, but as one old adage says, there are only two mistakes one can make along the road to truth: not going all the way and not starting. Our children are counting on us to seek that truth, and we have an obligation as public servants, lawmakers, and fiscal stewards to make sure we're taking care of all our children. My budget recommendation is a down payment on what it will take to get that job done. Tonight I ask you to support it and to continue with us on the journey. It is a journey that leads us to fulfill our destiny as a school district. It is a journey for those who want a better future tomorrow and know we must prepare today. So I ask you to choose. Choose to make great choices and sound investments now and in the future. I ask you to join me in choosing to do the right thing for the people of our county and our school district. Thank you for everything you do each and every day for our children and our community.
Dr. Maxwell, thank you so much for your bold leadership. We, as a board, have a tremendous challenge ahead of us as we look to join you as we have in this journey. I'm reminded as I close, you know, as folks, hopefully some folks saw online that we are putting our own investment, we're reinvesting in our mission and vision and core values as an organization. And we've put some ideas out there. We've gotten a lot of feedback from the public. I think over almost 900 people have weighed in. And our vision, and I think you just articulated it well in what you said, the vision that we propose is that Prince George's County Public Schools will be a great school system, recognized for providing excellent educational services, ensuring that every student, regardless of race, background, or economic status, graduates ready for college and career and success in a global society. Saying those words is easy to do. Being bold enough to put the investments in place to make it happen, that's a tremendous challenge for every one of us in this room and for every one of the citizens in Prince George's County. So we thank you for giving us that challenge. We're going to look at this budget with a level of detail that will be significant. And again, we invite each and every one of you to join us in that process. I'll remind you again that we'll have 3 public information sessions. The board will have work sessions. We will do a tremendous amount of work to make sure that the budget that we present together with our CEO provides the kind of vision that has been laid out today. And with that, friends, unless there's something else,
Happy holidays.
All right. I will remind, so there's no time for questions, but certainly is a time if folks want to make a remark. Mr. Burrows?
Dr. Maxwell, I want to thank you and your staff and the budget office for this amazing presentation. I'm confident that the items in this presentation will ensure that our school system moves from good to great. A budget is only as good as the people who are charged with implementing it. So I also want to recognize your executive staff, Dr. Davis, Dr. Joseph, Dr. Margulies, and Ms. Golson. And also Dr. Smith, Dr. Cadet, Dr. Gorman Brown, Dr. Robin Prince, Dr. Yvette Mosey-Ross, who does a phenomenal job at UMBC, and all of the other school system staff. The money helps, of course, but without strong leaders in the school system, it really doesn't mean a whole lot. So I want to thank each of you for the work that you do for the school system.
Excellently put, my friend, Mr. Burrows. All right.
Dr. Eubanks,
Yes.
since Edward mentioned so many people, could I just add one more?
All right.
A lot of the work in sort of how we're going to communicate our message came through our new Chief Communications Officer, Keisha Bullock, and her team, and I'd just like to acknowledge their work tonight.
All right. The music is playing, and it's time to go. Thank you, folks. We are adjourned. Have a great evening.